Have you ever felt trapped by the need for everything to be perfect? That constant pressure to get every single detail right, where even the tiniest mistake feels like a massive failure? It's exhausting, isn't it? This feeling can paralyze us, stopping us from even starting something new because we're so afraid it won't be flawless. Today, I want to share a story that speaks directly to this struggle, a story about a young man named Arjun, and a profound lesson he learned about the true nature of growth and peace. It's a journey from the prison of perfectionism to the freedom of letting go. There was a young man named Arjun who was obsessed with perfection. In his world, every action, every project, every word had to be flawless. If he was writing an email, he would spend hours rewriting it. If he was learning a new skill, he'd get incredibly frustrated at the slightest mistake. This constant pursuit of the ideal outcome wasn't making him better. It was making him miserable. Every little setback, every flaw, felt like a personal defeat. He would often find himself saying, "I just can't do this if it's not going to be perfect." This thought became a recurring mantra, a self-imposed barrier that kept him stuck, paralyzed by the overwhelming fear of failure. He believed that perfection was the only acceptable standard, and anything less was a sign of inadequacy. This constant anxiety was taking a toll on him. His friends noticed he was always tense. His family saw him giving up on hobbies he once loved. The joy of creating, of learning, of simply living was being suffocated by his relentless self-criticism. He was so focused on avoiding mistakes that he was also avoiding life itself. He was missing out on opportunities to grow, to connect, and to experience the simple, messy beauty of the world around him, all because he was chasing an impossible standard that existed only in his mind. He was living in a cage of his own making, and he didn't even know where to find the key. One bright afternoon, seeking a break from his own racing thoughts, Arjun decided to visit a quiet, beautiful garden on the outskirts of his town. It was a place known for its serene atmosphere, a sanctuary of calm. As he walked along the winding paths, he saw an old gardener with a gentle face, carefully tending to the plants. The gardener moved with a slow, deliberate grace, his hands wrinkled from years of working with the earth. Arjun, however, couldn't shake his inner turmoil. He carried his frustration with him like a heavy coat, and his brow was furrowed in a deep frown. The old gardener, perceptive and kind, noticed Arjun's troubled expression. He paused his work, wiped his hands on his apron, and approached the young man with a warm smile. "You look as though you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, young man," the gardener said softly. "Why do you look so troubled?" His voice was calm and reassuring, inviting Arjun to share his burden. Arjun, surprised by the stranger's kindness, found himself opening up. I want everything in my life to be perfect," he confessed, the words tumbling out in a rush. "But it feels like nothing ever turns out the way I plan. It's a constant struggle, and I'm just so tired of it." The gardener listened patiently, his eyes full of understanding. He didn't offer a quick solution or empty platitudes. Instead, he reached down and picked up a small, crooked branch that had fallen from a nearby tree. He held it out for Arjun to see. "Look at this branch," he said. "It's not straight. It's not symmetrical. By some standards, it's not perfect at all." He turned the branch over in his hands, pointing out its knots and bends. "But," he continued, his voice gaining a quiet strength, "this branch grew. It twisted and turned to reach for the sunlight. It weathered storms. And in its own way, it blossomed and played its part in the life of the tree." He then looked directly at Arjun, his gaze both gentle and profound. "Life," he said, "is very much like this branch. It's rarely a straight line. If you cling to your idea of perfection, you will spend all your energy resisting the natural flow of things. You'll be fighting against the very nature of what it means to be alive. But when you learn to let go, when you accept imperfection as a natural and even beautiful part of the journey, That's when you create space for yourself. That's when you can truly grow, thrive, and find a deep, lasting peace. The simplicity and wisdom of the gardener's words struck a chord deep within Arjun. He looked from the crooked branch to the gardener's peaceful face and felt a shift inside him. That evening, Arjun couldn't stop thinking about the gardener's words. The image of the crooked branch, reaching for the sun, was imprinted on his mind. He realized how much energy he had been wasting, fighting a battle against reality itself. That night, he made a conscious decision. He decided to stop resisting. He decided to try letting go. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but a series of small, intentional choices. The next day, he sat down to work on a project he had been avoiding. When he made a mistake, instead of getting frustrated and wanting to quit, he took a deep breath, reminded himself of the branch, and simply corrected it and moved on. It felt different, lighter. He started applying this new mindset to other areas of his life. He decided to speak up in a meeting, even if he was worried his words wouldn't be perfectly articulated. He started painting again, a passion he had abandoned because his canvases were never as flawless as the images in his head. He allowed himself to create, even if mistakes were made along the way. Slowly, but surely, he began to notice a profound change. A sense of freedom he hadn't felt in years began to settle over him. A quiet calm washed over his mind, replacing the constant hum of anxiety. He was no longer a prisoner of his own expectations. As he continued this practice, his entire perspective on life began to shift. Mistakes were no longer catastrophic failures. They became valuable lessons, showing him what to do differently next time. Failures were no longer roadblocks. They became stepping stones, opportunities to build resilience and try a new path. And the imperfections, the little quirks in his work and in himself, were no longer things to be ashamed of. He started to see them as part of the unique beauty of his own journey, much like the knots on the crooked branch. They were evidence of growth, of life lived, of risks taken. Arjun finally understood the profound truth in the gardener's wisdom. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It's not about lowering your standards or resigning yourself to mediocrity. It's about releasing the rigid, unrealistic expectations that hold you back. It's about finding peace within the process, trusting your ability to navigate the twists and turns, and continuing to move forward with grace and self-compassion. He learned that true strength isn't in being flawless, but in the courage to grow, to learn, and to thrive, imperfections and all. Just like Arjun, we can all find freedom in letting go of the need for perfection. Life is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect. Embracing that truth is where real peace and growth begin. I hope this story resonated with you. If you found it inspiring, please consider subscribing to Stories by Heart. We share stories like this every week to help you stay motivated, grow wiser, and maybe even learn a little English along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.